Hi everyone, I'm currently on a short 2-week break, probably knee-deep in flat earth videos as we speak. So I've laid on some guest creators to tackle the Tinfoil Tuesday and Flat Earth Friday videos, and this Friday it falls to MCToon to take on the Flat Earthers. You'll often hear Flat Earthers talk about the Black Swan image, something which Nathan and his team salivate over almost every day it seems. Well, MCToon has some black swans of his own, and they do not seem to help Flat Earth one bit. Away you go, MCToon, and thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm MCToon, the worst rapper in the world. You may not know it, but Simon Dan is a huge breakdancer. This week he's on the secret NASA moon base for the breakdancing championships. It's down to Dan and NDT. So hopefully NDT doesn't break his hip again. So, hold on. I probably shouldn't say anything about the secret NASA moon base. I got to remember to take that out later. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, it's Flat Earth Friday. Hello all, and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, MCToon. Thank you very much for joining me. You may have heard about the Black Swan that some Flat Earthers think is the one proof to rule them, one proof to find them, one proof to bring them and in the darkness bind them, in the land of Flatopia where all the Flat Earthers lie. So they show this photo of some oil rigs. Do a little math, ignore some conflating variables, declare that the horizon can only be so far away, the horizon is farther away, therefore they think the Earth is flat. This is completely ignoring conflating variables like atmospheric refraction that completely mangles the view of the oil rigs. I won't get into it too much because there's already so many debunks of the Black Swan, but I will include a link to the list of different debunks on my website at mctoon.net. The point, though, is that they employ a handy logical argument called modus tollens. It goes like this. If P, then Q. Not Q, therefore not P. Or to give it a little more concrete, if it's a car, then it has wheels. It does not have wheels, therefore it's not a car. Well, it's a good argument, but only if the premise is true. We know that flat Earth doesn't work, so I thought I'd put together a list of black swans. Turns out flat Earth is black swans all the way down. There's so many I can't cover them all here, but be sure to check the link in the description to get to my YouTube channel where you can subscribe and get all the other Black Swans videos as I bring them out. Black Swan, number 1. Best to start with the actual Black Swan from the original Flat Earth claim. On a flat surface, nothing could ever appear behind the horizon. There would always be something farther away on the surface. But in this photo, taken by the same guy as the original claimed Black Swan, the distant oil rig is obstructed by the horizon. Now, flat earthers will make all sorts of claims and invent brand new physics, but it's just not possible. So here is Black Swan number 1. If the Earth is flat, nothing can appear behind the horizon. The oil rig is behind the horizon, therefore, the Earth is not flat. Black Swan, number 2. If the Earth were flat, then from high elevation, when you look at the horizon, the angular dip would be essentially 0. Flat earthers state it as the horizon always rises to eye level. Eye level being the horizontal plane perpendicular to the downward direction. The reason must be essentially 0 on a flat surface is because if there's an edge, it's very far away. So the angle is very nearly 0. Some flat earthers even imagine the Earth just keeps going and there's more lands. In this case, the dip would be even less. Now, on the other hand, if the Earth is spherical, the horizon must drop as elevation increases. Not by much, you can calculate it yourself. It's about 3.2 degrees at the elevation of a commercial airplane. This amount is difficult for our eyes to identify without a reference, but you can install the Theodolite app on your phone and test it yourself the next time you go on a flight. Here's when I took myself flying from Anchorage, Alaska to Minneapolis last summer. You can see the line across the middle is eye level. Then the moon is below eye level, and the horizon is somewhere down even farther below that. Other people have done it too and measured the dip to match predictions for a globe. Professional surveyors can measure it even more precisely with their high-quality theodolites. Here's one from Jeff the Maine Surveyor, where the horizon is very obviously not at eye level. Standard practice, though, is to flip and rotate the theodolite telescope to verify there's no errors. And there aren't, as you can see here in this image. Jeff took 20 measurements and averaged them. Turns out the dip matches globe predictions. So here is Black Swan number 2. If the Earth is flat, the horizon must rise to eye level. The horizon does not rise to eye level, therefore the Earth is not flat. Black Swan number 3. When looking at an object, as it gets farther away, it always appears smaller. This is the law of perspective. The size can be measured in degrees, and you can calculate it using triangulation or this formula here if you prefer. When something is close and then you double or triple the distance between yourself and the object, it changes in angular size a lot. But if something's already very far away and you change the distance by that same amount, it hardly changes in angular size at all. So flat earthers claim the sun is small and local. If this were the case, then when measuring the angular size of the sun, it must vary a lot throughout the day. If the sun is 93 million miles away, its angular size must hardly change at all throughout the day, since the distance is not changing very much relative to the already large distance to the sun. So when looking at the sun, it's always important not to do it with your own eyes. Use something very dark like welder's glass or a proper solar filter. The same is true for a camera. If you don't, the camera will get an image of the glare, not the actual size of the sun. So in this video by Felipe Rockholt, who's a flat earther, he did use a solar filter when he filmed the sun at sunrise, midday, and sunset. It's clear that the sun is very nearly the same size in all 3 times of day. Not drastically different sizes as it must be if the Earth is flat. Thanks, Felipe. So here's Black Swan number 3. If the sun is small and local, according to the law of perspective, its angular size must vary dramatically throughout the day. The sun's angular size hardly varies at all throughout the day. Therefore, the Earth is not flat. Black Swan number 4. There are a lot of airplanes and ships that regularly travel between continents. Airplane navigators must plot these routes and ensure they have enough fuel for the flight, but not too much, as an airplane has trouble landing if there's too much fuel because it makes the airplane too heavy. They also absolutely need accurate maps. Otherwise, they'd get off course and get lost, potentially running out of fuel and crashing. Airline companies would have a few problems if they regularly lost airplanes over the ocean, and it would cut down on repeat customers. These routes are public information and can be accessed on many websites. Anyone can ride on a plane and record their coordinates with the GPS recorder, so there's nothing to hide. For example, flight QF27 between Sydney, Australia and Santiago, Chile. If the Earth were flat, it would be around 16,000 miles and fly over North America. If the Earth were round, it would fly close to Antarctica and would be about 7,000 miles long. What does this flight actually do? It's just over 12 hours, gets close to Antarctica, and flies about 7,000 miles, just as predicted on a globe. So here's Black Swan number 4. If the Earth were flat, all long-distance flights would work on a flat map. Long-distance flights do not work on a flat map Therefore, the Earth is not flat. Black Swan, number 5. Many flat earthers also insist the Earth is stationary, though there are some that imagine the Earth is perpetually accelerating upwards. These two groups don't get along. The flat and stationary ones accuse the non-stationary ones of being controlled opposition, as if they're intentionally trying to make flat earthers look dumb. Let's get this straight. One set of flat earthers are mad at another set of flat earthers because they think they make them look dumb? Let that sink in. Anyway, whether the Earth is stationary or accelerating up, they all claim the Earth isn't rotating. But this has been tested by a flat earther.
But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. Now, just like belly button lint is not a proper garnish to serve to Gordon Ramsay, Bob Nodell is not a scientist. Not even close.
A 15 degree per hour drift.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, God.
So what about properly done, peer-reviewed scientific measurements of Earth's rotation? Well, there are many. I put together a collection of measurements using a variety of methods on my website at mctoon.net/spin. Like this one, detection of Earth's rotation using superfluid phase coherence. In this measurement, the researchers put liquid helium-4 in a small toroid. Now, liquid helium flows without friction, allowing it to move according to only its inertia. In the toroid is a sensor to measure the flow velocity of the helium induced by Earth's rotation. There are more than a dozen different measurements of Earth's rotation listed on my website. So here's Black Swan number 5. If the Earth is stationary, then measurements would measure no rotation. Flat earther Bob Nodell used a $20,000 optical gyroscope to measure rotation. Therefore, the Earth is not stationary. Thanks, Bob. Well, there you have it. 5 things that absolutely destroy flat Earth. I'll be adding more Black Swans all the way down videos. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see future installments. I also have a weekly debate on Tuesdays. It's usually with flat earthers, though anybody in the tinfoil hat brigade is fair game. Thanks to Simon Dan for asking me to fill in. I'm sure you're going to win that breakdancing championship. And I'll see you all on Tuesday for the next debate on my channel.